I have seen a lot of pastors start to wake up and say, oh, we need to get a professional in here. I can't just do this on my own. Congregations are inviting therapists to come in and talk. And I think that is beautiful, especially when it comes to couples retreats and couples work. So I'm just curious about, from your perspective, where do you see couples work in terms of seeking help with their marriage? You have to stick together no matter what happens in the family. And there's some very disturbing things that I'm seeing in these families. And I'm not certain, as a therapist, I'm not attached to the outcome of whether you're going to be together or not. I'm really interested in the process and self-actualization and all of that. But I'm curious about, how what your perspective is on that part.
Okay. Well, one, I want to say, I commend the pastors that you have seen, the couples that have gone to pastors where they actually have said, hey, we need some support, because there are limits to pastoral counseling, and biblical advice is wonderful, is necessary. But at some point we do have to say, we need a referral out. We've got to get some professional help here. And I think one of the main things to remember is, yes, the family structure is sacred. Couples are sacred. Marriage is sacred. However, in an attempt to honor God, you can't look at manipulation, abuse, coercion, any of those things and say, okay, but under no circumstances can you split, because this is not healthy for the person. This is not healthy for the family unit. This is not healthy for children to see parents involved in these kinds of interactions, because then what does this teach the next generation? They're going to complete, these cycles. And oftentimes, in churches, we talk about breaking generational curses. You break generational curses by breaking generational trauma. And you understand generational trauma by doing the work and digging in and saying, you know what, this was dysfunctional. Just because I learned it, it didn't make it right. And just because we continue to practice this, it didn't make it right. And then you choose to do something differently based on the education you receive. And oftentimes that comes in therapy. And so for families that are trying to just stay together without any type of a chance to separate and redefine what are roles and goals and all of that, I think it's really important to say, okay, but is there abuse going on? And abuse is not just the physical. There can be emotional abuse. There can be financial abuse. Yes. There can be all kinds of things going on. And if you're noticing any of that, it is to not be you recommending that people stay together at all costs.